Hey guys, hey, it's Kevin, and I'm just coming to you from Boise State actually. So I wanted to do a video series, maybe a few videos, different parts on, is college something that's right for you? You know, as we get closer, I remember being in school, as you get closer towards the end of July and August starts, you know that, okay, usually that first day, it's right around August 24th, if not even later August. And so your mind starts racing, you start feeling the squeeze of summer coming to a close when maybe it felt like nothing's ever, it's never going to end. Maybe you're a high school senior and you kind of spent this whole summer not focused on anything, which is reasonable. And now it's coming up to, am I actually going to do this or not? And so I just want to make a few videos and see, these videos, the point is to help you kind of narrow down where you're at. And I think specifically, I just want to pass on maybe some lessons and experience that I had. So a little bit of background about me. I went 1 year at a community college because my high school grades were terrible and there's no way I was going to go to a traditional 4-year school out of the gate. I then transferred to Boise State, earned my undergraduate degree there in social work, and I went on immediately after that and did the graduate program for social work as well, with a focus in working with adolescents. So a long time here, about 7 years total of school for me. Probably around 6.5 to be honest, but I spent a summer in here as well. So I spent a long time in here, and I feel like I visited every stage along the way of not knowing what I'm doing, wasting time, struggling through, then actually having to really work through some higher level classes, taking a bunch of classes and then just wasting my time. So I went through a lot of different stages in school, went through a lot of different periods in my life. I went from just being an idiot and maybe partying a lot. I got married. I made a lot of different job movements during school. I moved out from my parents' home, out on my own. So I was all over the place, and this is a long time for me. It was a long time in school, and it was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. For some people, it's just the 4 years and done. I did 7, and it was rough. It was I feel like it definitely aged me a little bit, especially towards the end. Nothing was fun, nothing was exciting. I just needed to finish. I needed to be done with this. So, and it definitely didn't feel like it was going to be that way at first. When I first showed up here at BSU, it was just all the intro classes for me. I was just taking core classes, which was really easy. It was fun. It was easy. You show up to class, turn in your assignments, and you at least got a C. So, and it definitely transitioned into higher levels of stuff as you go on, and that was definitely an adjustment for me. Hey guys, a couple of points I wanted to make just as I'm kind of going into this. Hopefully I'm running big enough for you guys to see. I know this is a part of my therapy group, so I'll tell people to yell at me if I'm not. So, first thing, before we even get to what you're interested in, what is your, try to write this, bigger letters. And again, these are just my thoughts. So take it for what it's worth. So number one, what is your center? And what I mean by that is, what are you trying to, where are you coming from at first? At least when I was getting out of high school, there's a lot of people that are thinking, I just want to go party, I want to have the experience, and those are surface level things. Okay, maybe I'll figure it out, but what exactly is your center? Even deeper than some of these superficial things. I'm talking more about you as a person. What's your center? Are you coming from a place of, I work with a lot of kids, so I hear a lot of these things. So, well, I'm really depressed and I don't know what's going on. I'm just overwhelmed with everything, so I'm just going to go to school and hopefully I'll figure it out there, and hopefully things get better. I think that's dangerous. If you're coming from a point, if you're doing anything from a point of I'm depressed. I feel terrible about myself. My depression and my self-esteem is garbage. So I'm just going to go do something. And I mean, it's not necessarily bad, but I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. If let's focus back on just college. If you're hoping that going to college, going to a university is going to be this fix-all, or you're going to have such a good time that your crumbling self-esteem and your crippling, suffocating depression is going to get better, it's not. It's not going to fix it. If you're trying to, avoid just a pattern of unhealthy behavior and unhealthy living, and you're trying to get a new start, unless you fix that fundamental problem, nothing's going to get better. So, whether it could be anything, I think making sure your center is solid, whether that's you feel okay, you feel good, you feel confident, you feel safe in yourself, you feel established in yourself. You're not looking for some external. I think the fundamental thing is you're not looking for some external thing to meet some kind of a need internally that isn't going to get met. So whether that's, whether your supports are coming from your family, your faith, what you're passionate about, just make sure that your core is solid. I just want to emphasize this. The external things aren't going to fix you. If you're thinking, well, I hate my life, so I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get a degree that I can make six figures with right out of the gate, and everything's going to be cool. I literally had this conversation with my friend like 8 years ago. He wanted to be a mechanical engineer, and it ended up he found something else that he was really passionate about outside of school. But initially, I remember the conversation was, well, I'll be happy then. I'll be happy if I have six figures. It doesn't matter. As long as I have the money, I don't see how I can be unhappy. So focusing on what is your center? Where are you exactly coming from? And guys, the second thing is, what is your interest? What are you interested in? Not what job do you want to do or what job is marketable, or what do you want to be when you grow up? That whole question, I think those set you back, and the university system will fail you. If you're just coming to a college, to a school, or just higher further education, whatever it may be, for a job or for money, I'm begging and pleading with you, that is not a reason to come to school. Like, you may get those things, you may get the money, you may get a job, but if you're depressed at the end of it, if you hate yourself and you hate your life, it's all worthless. I know plenty of people who, all this talk about, oh, it's Monday, I hate my job, I have to go in, and you see it all over. Monday sucks. If you're gonna go do something where your Monday sucks, or something you're just going to collect a paycheck in, you're selling yourself short. And even further than that, now that I have a child, I'm thinking, I don't want to do something and be someone that is a miserable human being. I don't want to just go collect a paycheck. I don't want to just go to a job and drone on for 50 years and then try to retire on a social security system that's not going to be there. That's not what I want to do. I'm interested in helping people. I want to go on. I want to be a counselor, a therapist. I eventually want to maybe work in a school setting and be a school counselor, and coach on the side, and maybe open my own kind of private therapy place that I can do after hours or during the summer. So that's my interest. I'm interested in helping others. I'm interested in passing on some help and some support to other people and watching them grow and develop. There's a lot of other degrees or maybe jobs or fields that I could go into that may seem more lucrative, higher paying, etc. But if I'm not wanting to do it, if I don't want to be there, I'm not going to commit. I'm not going to invest in it. I'm not going to do the job I should do. So I'm not saying that everyone should go be a social worker, everyone should go be a therapist. I'm just saying do something you're interested in. If that is being an engineer or being an accountant or being a police officer, being a teacher, that's great. It doesn't matter. If you stumble into something that you're really interested in, you're passionate about, that's cool too. But don't just go, okay, well, looking here, what's the highest paying job or one of the highest paying jobs? Okay, I can be a mechanical engineer. I'll be done in 4 years, and then I will be happy. That is a false assumption. You'll be miserable. If that is the only reason you're going into it. I'm not trying to bash other professions. I'm trying to get you to focus on the fundamental aspect. Interested in, that's what I'm passionate about. That's how I wound up in the field I did. So next, so this is all something I think any high school senior, you should be able to sit down and figure out, okay, where am I as a person? If I'm not in a good spot, go get help, go get some therapy, surround yourself with a positive support system, get the toxic people out of your life. Take a moment to get off social media, get off everything, detach yourself, and find out, really ask yourself, because I think a lot of this, the expectation is, you go get your job, go be successful. No, to hell with all that, to hell with this, the expectation of society. Go sit down and figure out what you're interested in. If it's not something that's lucrative, then fine, who cares? You can make it lucrative. This is a day and age when you can sell yourself and market yourself way easier than you could at any point in history. You've got Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all this stuff that you can put your stuff out. It's art. And you want to do that? Go do it. Don't be a miserable human being. Next, so all that being said, this is, starting school. Come up with your plan. Honestly, a lot of people change majors. A lot of people go from, for example, I'm just speaking from my perspective because that's all I have. They start out majoring in psychology, and they realize at the end of 3 years, there's no job at all, and they start moving around, doing other things. And this is kind of what I did. I realized, okay, I wanted to help people. At this time, I didn't know how I was going to get to the point where I am now. So this is like two and a half years in, majoring in psych, trying to do that, and I'm just like, this is, looking at, I started looking at what are the requirements to be a counselor and things like that, and really, unless you get your doctorate in psychology, there's not a whole lot of jobs out there. So this is a perfect example of maybe having the right interest, having a decent center, but your plan is all kinds of screwed up at the time. So, and little things, this is going to just networking. So this is what helped me, just talking with other people in my support system, in my community, in the same kind of general interest of likes. And they pointed out that you could scratch that, go into social work. You can be a school counselor, you can be a therapist, you can be a case manager, you can have a lot more open flexibility, or you can go into just counseling as a major itself. So, and you have to weigh your pros and cons of that one. But this plan and developing kind of where I was going to come, how I was going to get to where I want to be, this was taking at least a few years. The further up, the sooner you can get a solid set plan in place, the better. The social work program, part of it was, and you can see from my other videos, it was a program I had to apply to get into just the undergrad. I had to apply again to get in the master's program. And I got denied the first time I applied for the social work program. So, it was tough. This is a process. I don't want to minimize it. This is a difficult time in my life getting through this. And I'll break this down maybe in future videos, kind of on this series and what that looked like. But think about, this is the time to start thinking about, okay, what kind of job do I want to do? What are the pay? What are the benefits? What's the major I need to take to get there? What's the quickest way I can do it? What are the maybe volunteer things I can do in the summer? Just the little nuts and bolts things. What areas do I need to improve in? Look through the majors, talk to people, talk to representatives of those majors. Go in and invest time and work. I would have saved myself probably at least a whole year of school if I just would have started this planning and getting a better idea earlier. But you have to keep in mind, I'm coming from a person who barely graduated high school, went to the community college, came here, and was still, I would say, an extremely immature person at this time when I was starting to think, when I was starting to formulate this. So, and that's okay, that's all right. I'm not saying you need to be perfect, you need to have everything sorted and have everything, prepped and aligned, because honestly, if you do that, you're just going to waste so much time trying to keep everything perfect that you're not going to be able to be flexible to catch this. I had to step out of this, I'll just go get my psych degree and learn about the mind. You know, I wanted to learn how people work and how people tick. If you want to learn how people tick, go get a social work degree. Go work in a psych hospital and do that for a couple of years. I'm sorry, I need to stop bashing majors. So if I wasn't flexible, if I wasn't networking, I may have saw this at a later point that would have made it harder for myself. So as much as you can invest in planning, do that. I think it's absolutely necessary, and it'll help you. You know, it may not feel like it'll help you at 19, but your 25 or maybe 26-year-old self when you graduate will thank you, to no end. The next part is just execute. Go and do it. Realize that you may fail classes. You may feel like you're stupid. You may get rejected. You may look like just an idiot in some of your classes when you try to get up and give that presentation and you're not prepared because you weren't taking yourself, the preparation seriously. You may get rejected from the program like I did. You may fail classes outright. You may have to show up. I think one of the worst things is, because I'm terrible at math, going through a class, this is when I was still stupid, not showing up to class, not turning in the homework, failing, being pissed that I failed, having to retake the class, and the only thing I did differently was I went to class and I turned in my work. I wasn't any smarter, it wasn't any better, but as ridiculous as I was when I was a little bit younger, I was persistent. I was willing to keep going, and then it got to the point where it's like I don't have a choice of failing. I've got a family, I've got to move. This is no more time for pat on the back, start over again, figure out something else you want to do. I had to finish this. At first I had a lot of flexibility, and I was going through, so I'm just throwing in personal stories, personal experience in this. That's all I know. But I got to the point, especially going into my undergrad social work, I have to go all the way with this. I have to get my undergrad, and if I want to do what I want to do, I knew that I had to get my master's in social work as well. And there's a lot of pressure with it. So this is all part of this process. If I spell this right. All this, everything else, all these things you're going to encounter. Maybe you're going through school and you have a death in the family. Maybe you are overwhelmed. Maybe you lose your housing. Maybe you have a kid pop into the picture. Maybe you get married. Maybe things change. But just keep in mind, if you know what your center is and your interest and your plan is, and you want to go do something, you want to be that engineer, you want to be an architect, whatever. If that stuff is all still solid and that is a true statement for each one of these things, don't let the process, I don't think I spelled that right. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I don't care. Don't let the process, overwhelm you or stop you from doing what you want to do. So this is the other side of, figuring out if school is right for you. This is pushing through the adversity, being willing to recognize that I am not good at school. I am not, quote unquote, a smart person. Grades don't come easy to me. I'm afraid of speaking in front of people. And these are things I'm just putting out myself. Again, this is all my thoughts going into, and this is kind of where I was. I couldn't write a paper. I was afraid to speak in front of others. I was terrible at math. I literally started out in a math class doing multiplication. I was in the lowest math class you could be in. I didn't have my priorities right. I had all these things I would consider, maybe a limiting factor. Nobody else in my immediate family went to school or went past high school if they graduated high school. So I had a lot of things kind of, even just in my own head, that were kind of working against me. But I was still willing to keep showing up. And I think, outside of all this, I think the main thing, and it's really simple, and I saw it on another YouTube channel. The main thing, if you want to get through maybe 85% of everything here, just show up to class. I purposely made this into a format of kind of coming from you're sitting in the desk, I'm up here, we're in class, this is a classroom. And if you just show up to class, if you just put yourself there, if you stop feeling sorry for yourself, if you stop avoiding the pain, if you stop trying to, you're too busy hanging out with your friends, you're too busy hanging out with your girlfriend, you're making all these excuses for why you're not going to class. Just stop doing that. The sooner you do that and the sooner you get on top of your shit, the easier this will be for you. I made it so much harder for me. I used to be the dope that would brag on Facebook, I'm skipping class, bro, I'm going to the gym. I mean, I was that stupid. I can't express, everything I'm saying is something that I had to learn the hard way. So just showing up to class, showing up, be willing to, even though you know you're going to fail the class, be the person that keeps going to class so that you have an edge on when you have to retake it next semester. Be willing to keep showing up to the stats class. For me, it was the last in the master's program. All the classes were just, your cut and dry social work. It was more intensive. Do some presentations, do some individual work, some essays, do some group work. There was one class that was stats, and that tested my nerve. It was really hard to understand the teacher, so I'm going to say. And there's a lot of miscommunications, and I wasn't good at math, and we're having to use this program. I knew for damn sure I don't want to do any research. I have no interest in going on and getting my doctorate in this, but I had to pass this class. It was so stressful. I was on my wit's end. I don't know how to express this anymore. It was so hard. I knew, okay, I'm just going to, what can I control? I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to go in after hours. I'm going to email that teacher and demand to sit down and get some help. I'm going to go in on the weekends and just block out a whole day to kind of work my way and process slowly through this. I knew I wasn't going to figure out this program. I wasn't going to figure out this math, and I wasn't going to use it. And I couldn't tell you, if I sat down and they told me to work on the stats program that I had that time, I couldn't do it. I didn't learn a damn thing in that class. But what I did get is I passed it. I knew, okay, I can control all those tangibles about showing up and putting in maximum effort and going from there. And some people got washed out by that class. It was tough. A lot of social workers and counselors can't do math. The math departments aren't that bad, but that class definitely kicked my ass. So that's all I have for this segment. Again, I'm going to make other portions or other videos on this as a topic. I just want to put out the initial things just to go over those again. Where's your center at? Where are you at as a person? If you know you're going, are you in a good spot to go in? And there's a time and a place for, I'm broke, I'm miserable, I hate my life, I hate myself, I hate my job, and I'm just going to make moves. Damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, and go do something. There is a time and a place for that. But have a degree of wisdom. I think, okay, if that's your spot, if you're miserable and you need to make a change, and you don't necessarily know what your interests are, and you don't know what, maybe you're not in a good place to go do school. There is a time and a place to just go and jump and go for it. And the only thing I would like to say with that, if you're that person, usually people that are motivated and willing to go and do these things have a degree of wisdom and a degree of kind of just discretion. Have discretion and wisdom to know how far can you push that boundary without being ridiculous. Don't, how do I say this? And I'm trying to be appropriate. Don't wreck your whole life and leave your family out on the street so you can go pursue your art degree. If you're going to do that and you're in that position, you got to be willing to put in the work to fulfill and still chase that dream. You're going to be working night, you're going to be working extra, so you can still do that dream. So don't let obstacles stand in your way, but also don't be an idiot and plan ahead. So that's all I got, guys. Again, I'm going to make other videos, maybe explaining other things with this, but that's all I really have for right now. This is just a snapshot of some of my experience, and I'll put in some other things later, different aspects of school, maybe different aspects of being a social worker, or trying to go through the social work degree. I might really detail my timeline. So anyhow, that's all I got, guys.